Our last video exposed Marianna Spring's determination to find misogyny everywhere she looked on Twitter. And we showed how she had misrepresented a report by the Institute for Strategic Dialogue in a recent BBC Panorama program. This next video shows how in the same program, she shamelessly exaggerates the number of hate tweets she personally receives. Marianna's next port of call looks like it might be promising. The International Center for Journalists told us in an earlier report that online violence against women journalists is frequently associated with populist politics and polarizing political debates such as Brexit. Let's watch the 90-second clip that made it to the Panorama program.
Julie Passetti from the International Center for Journalists has been analysing the messages directed at me.
We can see in April 2021 a massive spike in abuse against you, which was connected to your reporting on COVID-19 disinformation. Then we see in January 2022 a real reduction in the abuse that you're experiencing. We can directly compare the second period with the third period. We're looking at the same time frame a year later. And so here we can see in 2023 that you are starting to experience an escalation in the obvious abuse that is being detected. In fact, specifically after Elon Musk took over, the online violence directed at you, picked up by our tools, has more than tripled.
The graph we have been looking at charts the number of what they call abusive tweets per day, and this is a screen grab of the first spike she spoke about.
We can see in April 2021 a massive spike in abuse against you, which was connected to your reporting on COVID-19 disinformation.
Our graphics team have made this compilation of the screenshots created by the International Center for Journalists for Marianna's Panorama program, which Marianna is using to give weight to her hyperbolic claim that there has been a massive growth in misogyny against her since Musk took over Twitter. An earlier report by the Institute identifies the day when this first spike occurred as the 24th of April 2021, when there were anti-lockdown protests in London, about which Marianna had tweeted.
Anti-lockdown protesters, predominantly organized in Telegram channels promoting conspiracy theories about vaccines and the pandemic, are marching in central London. There are placards claiming, "The experimental vaccine kills."
It's hard to know how disingenuous her surprise was when, the next day she tweeted,
After reporting firsthand on online conspiracy theories about COVID being promoted at protests, I have been bombarded with horrific abuse and threats.
We can see in April 2021 a massive spike in abuse against you, which was connected to your reporting on COVID-19 disinformation.
Attentive viewers will have noticed that the massive spike claimed in the program represents a grand total of 20 tweets, which were posted in response to Marianna's dismissive insinuations about the protesters. Moving on with Panorama's narrative.
Then we see in January 2022 a real reduction in the abuse that you're experiencing.
As our screen grab technology reveals, we can now easily see that the Institute have highlighted one day in January 2022, when Marianna was subjected to 4 mean tweets.
We can directly compare January 2022 with the same time frame a year later. And so here we can see in 2023 that you are starting to experience an escalation in the obvious abuse that is being detected. In fact, specifically after Elon Musk took over, the online violence directed at you, picked up by our tools, has more than tripled.
There were 7 cases of what are described as online violence towards Marianna when Musk took over on October 27, which rose to a peak of 22 cases on January 11, 2023. I'm sure we are all wondering what could have possibly happened on January 11th to cause Marianna to be bombarded with those 22 tweets.
I was absolutely bombarded.
So, come back with us to January 2023.
Marianna Spring, BBC's disinformation and social media correspondent. January 11th. Today I covered 2 Andrews. Influencer Andrew Tate, whose content sparks fears about teens being exposed to misogynistic videos, is detained in Romania. And MP Andrew Bridgen, who has promoted anti-vax ideas, is suspended after comparing vaccines to the Holocaust.
And he himself has said he's a misogynist, pushing quite worrying ideas.
So it was these comments he shared online comparing the Holocaust with vaccines that sparked widespread condemnation.
Marianna Spring, thank you.
So, it seems that there are very few people following Marianna, if only 22 people could be bothered to send abusive tweets calling out her misinformation about Tate, and her misrepresentation of Bridgen's views. Our next video shows how the BBC mocked up a fake tweet to help Marianna misrepresent Elon Musk after the Panorama program was aired.